Hello, guys. Welcome to Casual Conversations with Coach Onestack. And I do have the pleasure of having a very cool guest, Trisha. Somebody I spoke to. I've known her for a few years. Very strong woman. And she's here to give you guys some opinions, about her dating experiences with the new modern man. Would you mind telling the people a little bit about you, Trisha? Because this is about you. It's to help some of these ladies and some of these men out in the dating area because it's a little bit different now than when we was growing up.
Oh yeah, the game has changed. So hello everybody, my name is Trisha. Um, I do have a podcast as well called Dating Over 40. So I'm all about these types of conversations. I am 50. I am widowed. I've been widowed for 8 years. I have a 30-year-old son. So I was thrown back into the dating pool 8 years ago, and the game has changed. So after 8 years, I am still single for that very reason. I ain't mad about it, but still single.
I see she by her being single. See, guys, I'm cheating a little bit because I've known her for a few years, so I've tailored some questions just for her because you dealing with a very strong woman here, which is going to lead to my very first question is, and you just kind of answered that. Like, I just want you to tell the viewers in your words, take your time. Why do you feel that some men are afraid of dating a strong woman? And tell me some of your experiences with it, because that seems to be a huge problem.
That is a big problem. And to be honest, I don't know. I don't. Let me. Okay, I'm just gonna say what I'm gonna say. Fuck it.
That's
Okay,
what it's about. You say
I'm
what
just
you
gonna say what I'm gonna say.
already know. Keep 1,000.
So absolutely. So my experience with it is everybody wants you to dumb down. Um, as long as people can treat you all kind of fucked up. Can I cuss on the show?
They probably want you to lower it some. I'm not.
Okay, I'll bring it down.
So yeah, we're gonna because
Okay,
we both
so
learning.
they want you to dumb down a little bit, and clearly I'm not saying all men, the men that I've dealt with, you know. So I feel like with men and women, we're in this constant cycle, and the cycle is just laced with foolishness. So everybody's so prideful that men and women, nobody wants to be the one to say, I love you, I care about you, I'll do anything for you because you don't want to seem soft. So we got people coming up, men and women that have no idea how to be personable with people, how to interact, how to get what you want out of somebody because you're also capable of giving. So my experience with men as it relates to strong women is that they don't want it. And now let me kind of backtrack a little bit too, because being a strong woman does not mean that you're a masculine woman. You possess masculine energy. I will use the term I'm an independent woman because I am. Just meaning that if you're independent too, if ain't nobody claiming you on their taxes, if you doing everything by yourself, you paying all your own bills, and you're independent. That's what it means. So for me, it's been a combination of men want to collect women, put me in their back pocket, wait till they ready, and all that kind of stuff. But when you're not stupid, because I'm not hard to handle, I'm just hard to play with. So when you're not stupid, it puts you in it catapults you into a different category as it relates to dating, because a lot of times they want you to be seen and not heard.
And so see, so that's a big, so that's and I can kind of relate to that, when you with being a man, and I have so many men that are saying, I want a strong woman, I want a strong woman, but yet you get this strong woman, this educated woman, this woman who is about her stuff, and it's like that's not really what you wanted. You really wanted
Mm-mm.
somebody to dumb themselves down. And I'm not just agreeing, just because we just happen to know each other, but I see this each and every day. Like so many men are afraid to let that woman stand out and be noticed and do her thing, sort of like if
Mhm.
we're going to a company party or a company
Mhm.
event. now it's time for you to sit back and let your woman shine, and you the
Mhm.
big your woman up.
Mhm.
Seems like so
Mhm.
many men want to be out front and make
Mhm.
everything seem like it's their idea and they're responsible
Mhm.
for everything, but yet they say they want the strong woman, but in reality, it seems like they just want the woman that's going to do anything that they say to do.
Mhm.
These are to that submissive part, submissive,
Mhm.
so to speak.
Mhm.
Have you ever had
Mhm.
issues with men, especially being a strong woman? Um, because like I said, and I like how you separate the two. It's a difference between strong and independent. Two,
Mhm.
one and the same, two totally different things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but have you had that issue with men saying that they wanted, the submissive woman, but they just really
Mhm.
just want somebody to be a yes woman?
Mhm. Mhm. So my experience with that, and let me touch on submissive because I feel like the word submissive gets a bad rap. Um, Women and men both think that it's something that it's not. Being submissive is something that's, say I'm in Vegas and I call you up, hey, you want to catch a bite to eat? I'm in town, let's hook up, and you say something like, well, what you want to do? Well, I want to go to this restaurant over here, and you say, I got something even better. If you like that, if that's where you really want to go. You like that? I know this, so I could take you over here. Me saying, okay, let's go with your recommendation. That's submission. That's me saying, okay, yeah, if that's what you want to do. I'm with it. Let's go. Submitting is nothing more than putting someone before you, putting someone else's needs before you. It's not this major thing. Submission is not you just get to bark orders and I just get to take orders. That's not submission is me. If I got a man, I view him in the same manner as which I view myself. So I give him the same respect that I would give me because he's a reflection of me. So me submitting to him says I love you, if you will. This is my love language. This is how I communicate with you. I want you to be happy. But on the flip side, men also submit to their women. It's a give and take. It's not one sided as it comes to submitting to somebody. It's not a bad word. And then you get into the strong woman aspect. I am an alpha female, but the thing about being an alpha is, especially an alpha with common sense, an alpha female knows when she's in the presence of an alpha male and automatically submits. That's the difference. When a woman is in the presence of a man who's a man's man, who she knows is going to stand 10 toes down, owns his own space, he also has self control, he possesses integrity. A man who stands like that, you can't help but to submit as a woman if that's what you want. You cannot help but before my husband died, like when me and my husband got together, submitting for me was natural because he was an alpha. So as an alpha female, part of being an alpha is to know when it's time to submit, to know that when you, as a woman, especially a strong woman, if you get a man that is masculine in his energy, he is an alpha, it keeps you as a woman in your feminine energy. There's no reason for you to be in your masculine energy when you have a man that's already there. So a lot of the stuff that comes out between men and women when it comes to dating, some men have lost their way as it relates to them being a leader. When I'm talking about men, I'm talking about black men. A lot of black men don't know that they're kings. They don't know the power that they possess, the power that they hold. So when these black kings are out here doing stuff that a town jester would do, then yeah, we side eyeing them. Because as a king, how do we all know? Everybody in the world know black men are kings except black men. So that's where the divide starts to come in.
I see, and I totally agree with you on that. And on the man's aspect, for any men that will watch this video, I also believe that they say being married, but in relationships, I believe that we're one, and I believe
Hmm.
that by me being submissive to you, if you are my woman, that I'm being submissive to myself because we are one. The
Yes.
way I treat you, like you said, is a reflection upon me. And I think a lot of
Mhm.
younger men uh, really need to see this type of video because they got it all backwards. They think that a woman's job is to just sit back and not say anything. But for a lot of you men, I'm here to tell you, your woman is your backbone, especially a strong woman. And she may not say a lot, she may not be heard a lot, but her opinion matters just as much as like having the president and the vice president. You're going to talk about everything. Now,
Mhm.
in private, a lot of men don't understand that decision that comes out comes from
Mhm.
women because I'm here to tell you, this is my opinion. Women are stronger than men mentally. You mature
Mhm.
faster
Mhm.
just because the answer it doesn't matter, but most men want that answer to come from
Mhm.
them to be in
Mhm.
the spotlight. You know what I mean? And that
Mhm.
and that that's where they get the submissive stuff all messed up in my part, especially the younger
Mhm.
generation. They think it's just here, you're just supposed to do what I say do, but it's chess. Your queen is the strongest piece on the board, and your king
Mhm.
is the most important piece, but we all go together. But the way
Mhm.
you treat your woman is the way you treating yourself so much.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So let,
That's
let me ask you a question because you're a strong man. I know that you stand, you own your own space and all that. So as a strong man, let's say you're married, you got it out there like, I don't want my wife, say you don't want your wife to work.
yes,
But in the midst of that, you got business, so she's helping you with your business aspect, whatever else, right?
yes.
Do you want a woman who you don't want her to work, but you want her to be capable in case something happens to you, right?
Oh, Trisha, that's a good question. I'm so glad you asked. See, I knew we was gonna vibe on this interview. I
Mhm.
want that because I adore a strong woman because I
Mhm.
feel that I ain't gonna say I feel that it's as a man, this is where we fell as a man. And I'm gonna tell you, this is where we fell as men. And I put 95% of this stuff on the man because women know young girls, being young queens, know at an
Mhm.
early age what they want way before us. It takes
Mhm.
us to have a baby or two or to mess up a few
Mhm.
relationships to figure out what we really want. But you know,
Mhm.
I I personally believe in letting a woman know. I want you to know if you're my partner, you're going to know everything that I know how to do.
Mhm.
You are going to be capable of doing everything that I know how to do. That way we're balanced because, like, as you
Mhm.
said, if something happens, the show must go
Mhm.
on. It can't stop because I'm
Mhm.
hurt or I'm injured or I can't go to work or I can't don't know how to do something. It, but it,
Mhm.
it it's but that's a strong man that's gonna teach. A strong man is here to build and teach. you know,
Mhm.
his woman. She should know everything he knows how to do. But
Mhm.
on the flip side of that, you have those men who intentionally want to keep things away from you. They don't want
Mhm.
you to know anything because they have ulterior motives. And so if you were to
Mhm.
know everything that they knew, well, they couldn't get away with the F boy stuff that they have going on. So I
Mhm.
really would want
Mhm.
somebody that's equal, that's balanced.
Mhm.
One that
Mhm.
in the clutch, don't nothing
Yeah.
stop. I
Mhm.
mean,
Well, that's the difference. Yeah. I think that a lot of where a lot of these men nowadays mess up, especially successful men. A lot of times they don't get their equal. Men are very visual, so a lot of times they'll go for this trophy wife look. Like they don't want her to have no miles on her, but they want her to be of a stripper's body and all this kind of shit. I mean stuff. Ooh, sorry,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
but they don't, she can't be experienced in nothing because they want to keep you dumb and out the loop. But the problem with that is, and fellas, hear me, if you get a woman that you are equally yoked with, and I'm not talking about religion, I'm talking about equally yoked in with your moral compass, with future plans, with whatever you got, if you are morally right with each other and equally yoked, you should be able to trust her with your life and vice versa. So if something were to happen and you have a wife that is not capable, your whole empire crumbles. But if you have a woman that's capable, she can see something going on with you. She's already handling things in the background. So when you come around, oh babe, you ain't going. Oh, I already took care of it. I saw it was coming. Or it's already done. She takes that weight off of you. Why? Because a queen can move in ways that a king can't. So a
Preach,
king
preach.
has to know who his queen is and what she is capable of and what she can do, and because she should be able to stand in the gap when he's not there. So when you get with somebody who's not capable, you run the risk of doing damage to the empire that you have built, because there's nobody can do it but you. You didn't give her the end. And a strong woman is going to come in and she's going to make sure you are all the way together, all the way together. She has advice and knows things that she can tell you to further the business. So with a strong woman, somebody that got your back, not no nonsense. I ain't talking about none of this foolishness out here in these streets. I'm talking about somebody that's about it. You got somebody educated. Let's say she's not educated, but she know what you're doing. She's smart. She picks it up. She got your back. She's honest. She's trustworthy. You good. Get you somebody that is your equal. And when I say equal, I'm not saying equal meaning that she's also head of household, but you get you somebody that is equal, that can pick up the pieces, or who may be more fine tuned when it comes to details than you are. Maybe she can read over these Baby, don't sign that contract. I just looked it over. Woo. Maybe she's that person that you need to be that second set of eyes on what you got going on.
You know what, I think you definitely need that second set of eyes. And see, and that actually leads me into another question that I wanted to ask you. And because I got a list of questions, but this is an easy one. Why do you, and you just touched on it too. And a
Hmm.
lot of y'all, men, especially you men, you need to listen to this question right here. Women too, but especially you men. Why do you feel that so many, we're gonna say men and women, are running away from the person that is chasing them, that they could be equally yoked with, and they're running after the person that doesn't want anything to do with them just because they fit a certain type of profile?
Hmm. Because people always want what they cannot have. They all A man or a woman could have the person of their dreams staring them dead in their face, and they will still go with air mattress Amy, who got sheets on the windows. Still go with her. Why? Because air mattress Amy doesn't require anything. You can bare minimum air mattress Amy, but somebody, and this is what I find amusing, is everybody wants somebody strong. Everybody wants somebody solid until they get somebody solid. Because if you get somebody solid, it is going to require you to step your game up. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot, all caps, bold font, bare minimum, a real one. You can't. They won't allow it. So you're chasing somebody who don't want to be caught. And the thing is, when they finally catch them, if they catch them, they don't even want them. Usually it's the thrill of the chase. So you got somebody that's down with you. You don't want that. That's too easy. I'm trying to do this. And that one that you chasing is going to take you through a whole lot of changes, because that's not even your lane. I believe what God has is for me. I don't have to chase my blessings because they're for me. Now, if I'm chasing my blessing, it ain't mine.
See, it's gonna come to you, and I really hope y'all listening to this, because like I said, this is for the ladies, and I tell you, I talk to women all the time, and so many, and I'm not down on the women. I'm not a sexist. Everybody knows that, and I talk to so many women throughout the day and throughout my life, and the thing is, so many of them have the wrong mindset of God told me my king would be 6'6". Well, he didn't tell you that.
No, you didn't.
Or God told me he would have X, Y, and Z. Well, he didn't tell you that. Um,
Mhm.
and then so a lot of these, especially in social media or in life, it could be people you know, your personal friends and family. You think
Mhm.
they got the perfect marriage, but when they get home, you don't realize that they got they may look the part, but they ain't even sleeping in the same room
Mhm.
for the last two,
Mhm.
3 years. You
Mhm.
don't know that they on the brink of divorce. They just together because of the kids.
Mhm.
You know,
Sometimes they're together because it's comfortable. Nobody wants to start over, so let's just cohabitate.
and you know what, and I dealt with that. I am a product of that, of
Mhm.
cohabitation.
Mhm.
So it's like being a product of that, a lot, and I don't tell anybody how to parent and how to live their relationship,
Mhm.
but I can tell you that it does affect, the kids down
Mhm.
the road because man, kids see everything. I try
Mhm.
to tell people to go to where they're happy, to love yourself, just a little bit more, because
Mhm.
if you're scarred and you're looking in that mirror, and if you're not completely, in love with everything you're looking at, I don't feel you should be dating because if you don't have that unconditional love for yourself, how can you expect the next person to?
Mhm.
You're looking for somebody
Mhm.
to complete them, and you're supposed to come complete already. And then
Mhm.
it's the
That's
way
right.
I'm looking at it. But
Mhm.
um, I see it all the time, and it's I see it with the women mostly, but with the guys on the men's note, for you fellas out there, you're saying that you want this woman that has this perfect model body. Now I don't move with the status quo, so I don't know what perfect would mean. You know,
Mhm.
hey, I like a woman that got some stretch marks and some bullet wounds, and I like the way a woman looks when she wakes up in the morning.
Mhm.
That's my favorite version of the woman. Not
Mhm.
dressed up, not I probably wouldn't even speak to someone out in a club setting or a cigar lounge
Mhm. Mhm.
because that's not who you are. But the person that I see, that wake up in the morning and got her hair tied up, well, that's the person I'm always going to be dealing with because the
Mhm.
fade. But those things having that person's back, man, you can't put a price on that. And on a spiritual note, for those who are listening, for you men, you have to understand, men, a woman came from out of you. A woman came from out of
Mhm.
your rib. This is why your woman knows what's going on with you before you know
Mhm.
what's going on with you, because she came from a body.
Mhm.
And time and
Mhm.
time again, as Trisha said, your woman is gonna already see this roadblock coming before you see it. If she's a good one,
Mhm.
she can already
Mhm.
take care of the business. Sometimes she didn't take care of it, and you don't even know. But a lot of you guys
Mhm.
overlook, and over you want to go for the
Mhm.
physical over getting your business taken care of. I would much rather have a woman that can take care of my business better than I can, and we
Mhm.
can do it together. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, that's a cool little question, right? Um,
Mhm.
let's see. I have a question. Now this is a cool little question that I know you gonna have a good answer for this one. And this is
Okay.
basically how you feel about the women, because you're a thick woman, and and I like thick women. We all know that. I don't like skinny women. But how do you
Mhm.
feel about the thick woman who feels that the only way that she could get um some attention, because this is a social media world. It's
Mhm.
not like in our day where you had to get dressed and go to
Mhm.
the mall, and you had to have enough intestinal fortitude to walk up to this
Mhm.
and introduce yourself
Mhm.
like a grown man. Now you could just
Mhm.
have your phone and do this. Well, how do you feel about the
Mhm.
woman who might have a little bit of weight on her, but she feels the only way she can get that attention is to have half her body hanging out and shaking her body on the internet? And that's don't.
Mhm.
It's a two-part question. But then these same men who give her this attention, they wouldn't be seen with her in public. They only want to
Mhm.
be on on a late night when her kids are asleep.
Mhm. Mhm.
How do you feel about
See,
that?
this has been going on. This has been going on forever. Social media just made it bigger than life, right? So you've always had heavy set women, a lot of them with low self esteem, this, that, and the third. So they'll do extra stuff to get that attention and whatever else. Now it's the same this day and age, but a little different. I feel like we are living in a day and age where women have a prostitute's mentality and men have a trick mentality. So a woman will get up and be half naked and carry herself in a way that's unpleasing if a man is looking for a wife. And so she'll do all that and be naked and say, you know what? I don't like you staring at me. These men, they be staring at my body, woo 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 woo. But you left it all out for them to stare at. You don't want no man using you for your body, using you for sex. But that's all you have to offer. So because that's all you have to offer, that's all the man wants from you because he sees there's no substance. A woman that is broken, whether she's been broken by a man or family, friend, whatever has happened to her, no man can come into her life and pay the debt that another man left. So it would behoove her to go and get some therapy. Go figure out where the root of this brokenness is and kill it. Because you got to kill it in order to heal from it. So, and then the flip side of that is you got men who they'll throw good money at a bad situation. And they're like, they'll show you and tell you, I got money, I got cars, I got this, I got that, but I don't want you using me for my money. I didn't even know you had all that till you just said all that. Now, if we go out to dinner, I feel some kind of way like he gonna think I'm using him for his money because he done told me all this money he got. I got my own. I got $2 too. Like we in the drive through here. You need my $2. You can take. But it's this weird dynamic where I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be over here half naked, my pussy hanging out, my stuff hanging out. I'm a cusser, so I'm trying to do this right.
We good. We're gonna have a time and place for that when we have our private
Yeah.
chat and on here. So you good?
Mhm.
Good. So
Okay, so
keep
my
going.
thing is when that kind of stuff goes down, there's some things internally going on with people, and so only thing I can say to a woman, whether she big, fat, short, tall, you're dealing with issues of self-esteem, then you need to seek help. You need because life is too short to be somebody's doormat. Life is too short to not love each other or love yourself. And how do you love somebody else if you don't love yourself? And that, like you had touched on unconditional love, and it's a whole nother subject entirely. But is unconditional love even a reality? Do you feel like you can go into a marriage and love your wife unconditionally and she love you unconditionally? I personally think that we love with conditions. I think the if you are able to love unconditionally, it's your children. Because if you break down what unconditional love is, there would be no divorces, no breakups, no nothing.
Ooh, see,
So
that's
how do you do that? And let me give you an example. Me and you, we married.
oh,
We start off, everything is wonderful. We business is good. We traveling, we doing all kinds of stuff. You trust me with your stuff, I trust you with my stuff. One day I decide I'm gonna step outside the marriage. So now I've brought me a partner, whatever. I done cheated, or I done did, or maybe I took some money from. I did something that I shouldn't have done to you. I have disrespected and violated you. At some point, now say I did it one time, you forgave me. Okay, we back on. I got my mind right. I did it again. Do you still have that same level of love for me you had before, or has that something happened because I've bruised you with these things that I've done to you?
oh, you know what? You just gave me up. Like there's no such thing as unconditional love.
There you
It comes
go.
down as levels because
Hmm.
it's like, yeah, it bruised me. It's like biblically, when they're saying no weapon formed against you shall prosper, but they never said that it wouldn't cut you. They never
Hmm.
said it wouldn't hurt you. It just said that it
Yeah.
wouldn't. and
Mhm.
that will change love. Like I've actually been in that situation before,
Mhm.
where
Mhm.
the person that I'm laying next to, who ended up being my wife, um,
Mhm.
why I didn't trust them. I didn't know who
Mhm.
I was laying next to for 8 years.
Yep. Mhm.
Absolutely, you're stealing from me. You're doing this, and so I'm like
Mhm.
you, but do I have unconditional love? I never thought about that. Like that's a good one. So
Mhm.
there really is no type of unconditional love. I
The
guess we
only way you can now let the only way I believe that it can be achieved is if you got two people literally on the same page. You got two people that are like, look, I love you unconditional, you love me. So we not gonna introduce confusion into the relationship. That's the only way. But if you got somebody cheating or doing, there's no way that you are gonna love them, crave them, want them on the same level you did before you started going through the turmoil. Because if you were, you would still be married if it
we
was unconditional.
because we will be able to look at that person and say, you know what, I forgive them. I can get past that. But it's I don't know. It's almost like this bottle. It kind of
Hmm.
starts going away
Yeah.
after, and ain't no way to
Hmm.
put it back. I never looked at it like that. You know.
Hmm.
So let me ask you this: Do you think that we can have an unconditional love for ourselves?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah. I
but
think
we
you can look because which how mad are you going to be at yourself? Like say right now, say earlier today, you went out and you did maybe you bought something you know you shouldn't have bought. And you was doing something and you was like, "You know what, man, I overspent on that. I shouldn't have did it. It was an impulse buy." Maybe you kind of irritated with yourself. Maybe the money was for something else and you just used it on this frivolous thing. You're going to be irritated with yourself, but how mad you going to be at yourself? Like literally, how are you gonna hate yourself? Are you can't you gonna get up like, okay, I messed up. Let me get my mind right, and you move around. You can't just be mad at you like that. Or if you do possess some kind of self hate, that's totally different. That's a whole nother something else. Whole nother something else.
you know, and one thing I like that you touched on was you saying that sometimes people need to get therapy, and
Mhm.
that rolls into another question of mine.
Mhm.
So being a man now, this is like I said, being a man, I think that a lot of men don't embrace therapy and should,
Mhm.
especially when we've went through things. So what I'm going to ask you is, I'm somebody who I was sexually abused from age 5 to 10. I think I should have
Mhm.
got some therapy for that, and what it
Mhm.
caused me to do. Um, what it caused me to do, even to this day. I don't like nobody trying to make me do anything. I'll give you the
Mhm.
world, but if you
Mhm.
try to make me do something that's not even of a sexual nature, I'm gonna
Mhm.
be shut down. Like
Yeah.
the answer is gonna be no, because what I
Mhm.
and it caused me every relationship up until, let's say, age 30, until
Mhm.
I was able to talk about it with my partner, because
Mhm.
we think that it makes us look bad. Um, and so I'm asking you, have you ever been in a situation, come across men who you felt needed some therapy because they had some childhood issues that they had not dealt with or should have been dealt
Mhm.
with, and it maybe could have made the relationship a little bit stronger had they been man enough to say, "Hey, you know what? I
Mhm.
need a little bit of help."
Mhm.
You're supposed to
Mhm.
be able to talk to your woman about stuff like this.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. You know that this is the thing that society has instilled over the years is that if you're a man and you're going through, especially if you're a black man, you're going through, to hell with you. Don't nobody care. Don't nobody want to help you. Don't nobody want to reach out. So black men have gotten to the point where they're like, I'll deal with it myself. So they keep a lot of things stored internally because then if they're dealing with a black woman and she's ignorant, what's wrong with you and all that? Don't nobody want to deal with stuff like that. When you're coming out of a place of trauma, you need to make sure that whoever you are speaking to is going to handle you with kid gloves, because the last thing you need is somebody to activate that trauma in you. That's you don't you've already been there, done that. So I met a guy years ago, and he told me, he shared with me his experience, and what he said was, and I won't forget it. He said, I lost my virginity when I was 8 years old to my babysitter. I had sex with my babysitter, and I was from age 8 to 12 or 13. He was having sex with the babysitter, so he's telling me about it. I got all these women. I'm doing this, this, and this, and he had a bunch of kids, like 7, 8 kids or something like that. So he's telling me this whole thing, and I listened. I didn't cut him off one time when he got done. I said, "Baby, you was raped when you were 8." He's like, "What? No, I wasn't. You were raped." I said, "I know you think you lost your virginity. I know you think that you went and you tore her walls out and you did all this stuff and you was having oral sex with her and you made it do what it do at 8. I know you think that, but what really happened is you were raped and groomed and molested. You were sexually assaulted and abused." I said, "And what it did was it made you hypersexual." "What do you mean you're hypersexual?" I said, "Look, you have 7 or 8 children by 7 or 8 different women. So your body was not mature enough to handle you ejaculating. It wasn't strong enough and mature enough. So what you did, when she raped you and she molested you, and your body responded and reacted to those things, what it did was it sent all kind of crazy signals to your brain, and your body wasn't ready for that. So because it wasn't ready for that, you morphed into this sexual demon, if you will. I don't know what to call it, but you morphed into that." And so he was like, "I didn't even think about." He was like, "Are you sure?" "I'm positive at 8 years old you cannot give consent to have sex. I'm positive about that. So I
No.
know that you were raped and molested." So those things, a man first, the first thing a man has to do is come to terms with he was sexually abused. Sir, you are not the man. You did not just bust down this 20-year-old woman. You didn't. You were raped. And most men that I know, including that one that's been through it, will not say that they were abused. I've been having sex since I was 10. No, you've been getting raped since you were 10, but okay.
See, and it's crazy, and I'm glad you brought that up because, like I said, I fall in that category from age 5 to 10, being because I would hear people say with being a younger man, um, a 6 year old can't get an erection. I'm like, the hell they can't.
Mm-hmm.
What you mean? Which like what you mean? And I don't. So we're gonna go back to the
Mm-hmm.
time. You look, you're a young man. You see, we only know what we see. You know,
Mm-hmm.
first thing I see there's a magazine when I'm I don't know 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So now I know that this is able to be done. Like, what is this? I don't know what this
Mm-hmm.
is called. Well, then this goes on from age 5 to 10, by a family
Mm-hmm.
member, a woman. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember being age 6 now. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we move, we get cable.
Yeah.
And now we got the Playboy channel. We got the Playboy
Mm-hmm.
channel. So my thing is, I said I'm gonna watch the Playboy channel tonight. That's what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
It's free. You get everything free for a month. And I remember being 6 years old, and Mr. Man is like this,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know why. I don't know what to call it. It hurt. I can't even sleep on
Mm-hmm.
my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know nothing about. I don't know what to do. So age 10, this stops. But now at 12, as you just said, babysitter. That was my first uh,
Mm-hmm.
penetration experience. And so now,
Mm-hmm.
as boys, young boys, because we're boys, we get praised for that. Oh, you got you son.
Mm-hmm.
You 12,
Mm-hmm.
thinking,
You a man. Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking I'm the man, right? I'm like, man,
Mm-hmm.
telling you, I've been having sex since I was 12 years old. No,
Mhm.
I've been getting molested in other things since I was 5 years old. And I lost my
Mhm.
virginity when I was 12. At age 16, I'm sleeping with mama, who 42 years old, and
Mhm.
her daughter, which this is all over my page, and I tell
Mhm.
people all the time. And it's people here that was here doing that can vouch for that. So still, once again, I'm thinking I'm the man. But in reality,
Mhm.
yeah, the age of consent is 16 in Vegas, but I really was a victim.
Mhm. You were.
And it took me years to accept that. When people would tell me,
Mhm.
and I'm busting down 42-year-old women when I'm 16. What you talk? Nah,
Mhm.
you were a victim. And it had
Mhm.
like some probably I didn't really accept that till I probably got in my 30s that I
Mhm.
was a victim.
Yeah.
Um, I wasn't a man, but I was a victim because, like I
Mhm.
said, some things you can't unlearn. But just in my case, like I said, I only have one child, but in my case, the way it affected me was I wanted to know if I could do it. Once you
Mhm.
find an older woman and you're like, okay, well, man, I could talk to her and I could get this. Well, now it's
Mhm.
a challenge. Like, okay, well, can I
Mhm.
bust this older woman down?
Mhm.
But in reality, I shouldn't have been going down that road anyway. And the thing is,
Mhm.
I've had counseling. I've went through all this, so I'm really big on telling men to get counseling for mental
Mhm.
health, sexual abuse, things of that nature.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you touched on that because nobody will ever touch on it. They always look at the women as being touched and fondled, but nobody ever looks at
Mhm.
we get we
Mhm.
get up for that.
Mhm.
You, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Because
And
it's celebrated for the boys. Like
celebrated.
boys, yes, boys celebrated their friends. If a grown man find out, he like, oh, you got some hair on your chest now, little something. It's not. It's different. But the even though it's different, once a man comes to terms with it, the reality for the boy and the girl is the same. You have still been victimized. You have been sexually assaulted, and somewhere in you, that root is still there, and you have to go and kill that root because for some reason some of the guys that have gone through it now they'll go back and they'll want to get a little young girl or something. It's like no 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 we don't want to do that. Well, that's what we don't want to do. You were the victim, but a victim will go back and victimize others, not even realizing that's what they're doing. So therapy, counseling, those things are exactly where a person needs to be because at your core, you have been violated. When you're violated at that young of an age, some things about you mentally stop developing because you just hit a wall and you don't even know that those things are not developing until you get old enough to use them and you like wait what's happening. Your body shuts. There are certain things that your mind and your body cannot even register. It'll shut it down and shut it off. So sexual assault is major in the black community. It's a lot of women. I was raped and molested as a child. From the age of the first time I was touched, I was 8, and I was raped by my cousin, had an abortion. I was raped by him when I was 12. I had an abortion when I was 13. I had to go to counseling. It did not make me hypersexual. It made me angry. So I fought all the way through elementary, middle, and high school. I was angry. I just wanted to fight everybody, and I did. So if I don't know how to do nothing else,
No, not now. See, I definitely get it too. Um, and like I said, I'm glad you touched on it because, like I said, this show to me is for the ladies, and like I said, anybody's always welcome to ask me anything, but because I want to give a king's point of view, man. And for a lot of you guys out
hmm
there, it's okay. Like and some of these, if I have any regrets in life, is losing my virginity at 12 years old.
Mhm.
It's like I had like that, like that's one thing that I regret because I had control over that. You understand what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
that's one
Mhm.
thing that I did have control over because, and then we wonder why. Like I call them late bloomers, Trisha. This is what I call them, and because I was one of them people in high school. Me and my friends, we were having our way like Burger King.
Mhm.
Um, it became easy to talk a woman out of her panties, and probably
Mhm.
24, 25. That's when
Mhm.
I got to the point of my life. I said, well, this is easy. Um, you start to feel a little nasty. And so now you thinking,
Mhm.
well, what can I do with this woman other than touch her? Like,
Mhm.
how do I touch her mind? How do I do this?
Mhm.
And then you learn different things, but it's
Mhm.
like the men, a lot of older men, I'm 48 years old. I look at a lot of men and I call them late bloomers because any man that I think that's probably say in his late 30s, 40s,
Mhm.
50s, and they still trying to be out there, I'm like, you must not have had some experiences when you got
Mhm.
younger. And it's like,
Mhm.
I'm glad that I spent my hypersexual time as a younger man uh,
Mhm.
than as a mature man,
Right.
especially
Right.
things
Mhm.
going on in the world right now.
Mhm.
But if I sit and I tell somebody, what I'm telling you, they're going to dap me up. And
Mhm.
like I said, it was a time where I felt like I was the man because, matter three mothers,
Mhm.
not one, not two, but three mothers
Mhm.
and they daughters before I was
Mhm.
20 years old. And I'm
Mhm.
thinking, oh, well, I'm the man. And I'm thinking, in the first one, this is why I'm so honest, is because she told me that she gave basically all in a nutshell. She said, I gave you what you asked for because you told me what you wanted. And it
Mhm.
was explained to me by a 42-year-old woman when I was 16 years old that if you anything that you wanted, not just a sexual thing, anything that you wanted from a woman or anybody,
Mhm.
as long as it wasn't unreasonable, if you asked for it, you would get it. And I literally have got, you know,
Mhm.
I'm gonna go ask you here, let's go rob a bank. But
Mhm.
other things, but we get applauded, but no, you're not gonna get a man. The men don't mess with me. They're not gonna come on my page and say, hey, I was a victim. They're, when
Mhm.
I do counseling, the average man is asking me, the average boy to man is asking,
Mhm.
well, how do you talk to a woman? That's the question that I
Mhm.
do patients for all the time with young.
Mhm.
How do you talk to a woman? Uh, how do you get this from a woman? And me, my thing is just be who you are and say what your intentions are, and be kind of
Mhm.
like straightforward. You know, yeah. If you don't feel like taking a woman to dinner, and you don't want to go to dinner, and you really don't want
Mhm.
to have drinks, tell her what it really is, and 9 out of 10 times you get these things. But like
Mhm.
I said, I just think that does come from the hypersexual young men,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
nobody, especially in the black community, and I'm sure you already know this from anybody that's watching, I am ex law enforcement, so um I also had to, in the Hispanic community, this is big. And before
Mhm.
I left that profession in the Hispanic community, what it had gotten to was you have the father. He may
Mhm.
be, he may have his daughter, and he has his daughter sleeping with two or three of the uncles or his brothers,
Mhm.
but they're doing it. How can I say this? From the back, so they do not break her hymen.
Mhm. Mhm.
They don't break her hymen, and of course, uh, being a migrant, scared to call the police, it was huge. And then
Mhm.
this being something that I had to look at on a in that type of profession, and you go into somebody's house and say somebody burglarized their house, they might have pictures sitting out, people that went through their stuff. Or I had to go to the hospital because you got a 1 year old that got something like this inside of them, and now they're about to die. and you're
Mhm.
pictures of these kids, and you're like, man, this stuff really go on.
Mhm.
I would just say from my experience, like races, it's like Hispanic, no, white, Caucasian, Hispanic,
Mhm.
us, and then like the Asians. But
Mhm.
they don't really talk about it with the men.
Mhm. Mhm.
Definitely. Well, and that'll lead me to the next question. Like, in your opinion, why do you think that a lot of men are really afraid to, tell their potential partner about, you know, their past and sexual abuses and things of that nature? Why do you think they're afraid to cross that line?
Well, I
And
think that men don't want to divulge stuff like that because at some point, I feel like they have, and somebody said something out of pocket, or because growing up, I remember my boy cousins and my uncles and stuff be like, "You better not cry. You bet all that talking that's for girls. You don't be doing this. You don't." It is instilled in young boys from a young age that you don't show emotion, you don't show fear, you don't cry, and if you're going through something, your feelings hurt, then you suck it up. I think for the black families, we have done a number on our children because we say that to our boys. Don't do this. You don't want to be crying. You don't want to do that. And we tell our girls, you don't talk about what's going on in this house. What happens in this house stays in this house. So we've done it to the boys and the girls, but we've done it different. The girls can cry and show emotion, but they can't tell what they better not tell nobody what's going on in this house. So if your uncle, your daddy, your grandfather is raping you or molesting you and all that kind of stuff, then you better not talk about it. So if you're a young man and you've gone through some turmoil, um, it's instilled in you at this point, especially if from being a young boy and now you're a grown man, there's just some things that they're just ingrained in you and you don't want to talk about those things. My late husband, he had gone through some things and he didn't want to talk about them. And so I said to him one day, I said, well, you don't have to talk about them, but if you want to, when you're ready, I'm here to listen. I was like, so I don't want you to feel ashamed, embarrassed, or feel like I'm going to judge you. I said, I just want to love on you. So when you're ready, you come talk to me. And I walked out, and he walked right behind me, grabbed my hand. He said, I want to talk. I said, do you feel safe talking to me? Because if you don't feel safe talking to me, I'm a mess it up for you, and I don't want to do that. And he said he was good, and we talked. And he talked. I just listened. I didn't even ask him any questions. I just listened. And when he got done talking, I just loved on him because a woman should always be a safe space for her man and vice versa. But a woman definitely has to be that safe space if she wants her man to thrive, if she wants her man to trust her and feel safe with her. The only way he's going to do that is to know that he can indeed talk to her about things like that and not feel a certain way.
yeah, and definitely not feel a certain way. And
Hmm.
that's why I ask you so much, for the men, and not to even downplay anything that happens, to the women, because like
Hmm.
you said, the things that I talk about, on my social media or my questions, or things that I may have experienced, things that I've been through, some that I've been a part of as well. I try to, keep things real personal, and then, I
Hmm.
give the status quo about what could happen or what may happen.
Hmm.
I try to keep it with facts, but I know, like, with me personally, it affected every relationship that I had up until age
Hmm.
30, because as young men, we want to poke our chest out. We don't
Hmm.
we don't want to look weak. Um, it took a woman to sit and tell me, like, hey, when you speak about stuff, it don't make you look weak as a man. It makes you actually stronger. You
Hmm.
know? So when
Hmm.
conversations would get to a certain level, I would buck. I would,
Hmm.
I would cause some other diversion because I'm like, oh my.
Hmm.
I hope I don't want to get to this. You know, it just
Mhm.
makes me feel bad. And
Mhm.
then and when I was able to speak about it, and when I learned that, I went to the person that I was with during this time who got the blunt end of it, because me, I'm a cool dude, but it's
Mhm.
one person that suffered.
Mhm.
They suffered. And you know what? No hands or no
Mhm.
disrespect, calling them out their name, but mentally they suffered for me to be like this,
Mhm.
for me to be the cool, open
Mhm.
person. It's somebody that suffered, and
Mhm.
to this day, that's one of my very, very best friends and confidants,
Mhm.
and that was the first person I told.
Mhm.
I told them, they're like, "Oh,
Mhm.
like oh, now I understand."
Mhm.
As women, y'all see stuff that we don't.
Mhm.
Oh,
Mhm.
and I was like, I said I just didn't want to look bad because nobody sits us down. Even me coming from a two-parent household, I
Mhm.
saw my parents every day of my life until my mother passed away, 14 years.
Mhm.
Our parent, and I don't blame the fathers, because if you don't know something, you just don't know. But
Yeah.
that's why I try to mentor a lot of young men and just tell them what's going on. No judgment, 1,000% out in the open.
Mhm.
Oh man, it's okay, and you be surprised
Mhm.
when people tell you, like, talk about it, get it off your chest.
Mhm.
This is this is
Yeah.
this is your partner, and
Mhm.
even if it ain't your partner, it's a part of who you are that molds you. So don't be afraid or ashamed of anything that molds you into who you are.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know,
That's true. That's true. People just have to come to terms with whatever it is. You got to be able to talk about it, and because I just feel like carrying all that weight for all those years, it always takes me back to that Bag Lady song by Erica Badu. It's like, Bag Lady, you gonna hurry up. You got too much stuff. You gonna miss your bus. All that kind of stuff. Like, you are weighed down with all of these things that you've gone through, and you didn't think enough of yourself to say, I don't want to wear this no more. This jacket is heavy. I don't want it. The only way you're going to get rid of it is get to the root and kill it. And if you don't know how to get to the root and kill it, you need to go to therapy. You need to talk to somebody. You need to find out, how can I get myself to a better place? Because when you're in that place of survivor mode, you're always in that place of survivor mode. I have been in survivor mode my whole life, coming out of being raped, molested, abandoned, kidnapped, beat, all types of things that I've been through. I was in survivor mode and didn't know it. And then when it's like you said, you don't know what you don't know. So when I went to therapy, I was like, whew, all of a sudden I'm feeling lighter. I'm not carrying all these bags. I'm not going to miss my bus today because I ain't got too much stuff. And it's like, oh, that's okay. I want some more of that, because it's a high healing when you start to heal. Because the hardest thing about healing is the decision that you make to heal. That's the hardest decision to make. And the reason why it's hard, because most people are so consumed with toxicity from their past. It's a high. They get high on it. It makes them relevant. And then to say, you know what? I want to heal from my past, meaning you are going to let that thing die. Ain't nothing you can do to change the past. So you're going to have to you got to let it ride. The hardest thing you're going to do during your healing process is at the very beginning of the healing process, when you say, I'm making a decision to heal. That's the hardest part about it. That's just like when you make the decision to go to the gym, you make the decision to eat better. The hardest thing about it is the actual decision to do it. Once you make your mind up to do it, everything else is gravy. You're going to get through it because now you got your mind right. That's why it's the hardest decision, because you have to reset your mind and say, you know what? I got to get it together. And once your mind is made up and you know you're going to do this journey, you just going to make it do what it do.
see, See, I'm feeling that, and that and that and that's gonna lead me to. I want to ask you this, in your opinion, because we're talking about your past traumas, your
Hmm.
past ups and downs. Everybody had a past ups and downs. Like we're always told that we should um leave our past behind us. We're always told that when we ask for forgiveness from God, and we keep asking, like, he already forgot what you asking for because he forgave you, and we're
Hmm.
supposed to move forward. But people are always trying to make you live in your past. So my question to you is, you know if what you have going on in your past or had 100 years ago, if that is no effect to the person, to people that you're dealing with, is that something that you should go into your past and start living in your past and from 100 years ago, and this affects nothing that you have going on with these people around you, just for the sake of it?
So this is my thing with my past. If I'm with somebody and it looks like we're gonna go for the long, yeah, I'm gonna tell them this is what it do. Not because it's going to affect anything that we have moving forward, but because you should know who you're dealing with. You should know where I come from. Now, I don't go and revisit my past to live there. I don't pay rent there, mortgage there, I don't spend the night there. My past does not affect me, but dealing with a man, I want him to know, listen, I was raped, I was abandoned. I want you to know those things about me. I'm not ashamed about it. I'm not embarrassed about it. I don't nothing like that. I could give you my testimony because that's what it is a testimony. I can give you that and we can go out to eat and we can go to the club. We can still have a good time. It don't stop me where I stand. But I can share with you, hey, listen, I know we taking this to a different level. I need you to know who I am, forwards, backwards, inside and out. I want to know those things about him because the thing is, people will come and if they know something about me, let me see if she done told her man she was raped. Let me see. I've had that happen to me. My first I've been married twice. My first husband I divorced him. He was a cheater. My second husband died of cancer. Um, but I remember my first husband's sister, me and her were best friends growing up. She knew that I had been raped and she knew about stuff like that. So when me and him got together, of course I told him, but I didn't tell her the things that we had discussed.
Right.
So when one day she got mad at me and she was like, I need to talk to you talking to him. And I wasn't at home. She went over to our house and she told him, I don't even know if you really know who you dealing with, but she was raped by her cousin and she had an abortion and blah 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 and he let her get it out. And when she got done, he said, she told me. And she was like, you know? So people will take your testimony. That's why when you're giving your testimony, you have to give it from an open place. I'm giving it and I don't care what you do with it. So you can use it and try and go and embarrass me, but it ain't gonna get me like that because I'm not embarrassed about it. I'm not ashamed about it. So people, let them do whatever it is they're gonna do. It don't affect me. You can laugh, be like, well, you stupid. How you get raped more than one time? How did this happen? You can judge me, you can do whatever you want to do with it. But I gave my testimony because that's what it's for. Let me give it. It may help one person, it may help 100 people. You can take it and you can tarnish it, you can throw it away, you can laugh at it. But at the end of the day, that says more about you than it does about me. And I don't care what you do with it, especially if you're doing something like that. I'm giving it to you coming from a place of love, of, hey, I've been there. Maybe my testimony will help you get through it. And if you don't want to use it like that, baby, that's on you. I'm still going, the sun still rises set tomorrow, baby. I'm still good. I'm still going to eat good. I'm going to have me a drink. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I don't let people come and shut my stuff down. You can't use my stuff against me. It just won't work. Are you frozen?
Oh no,
Oh.
it's definitely not gonna do that.
Mhm.
No, no, there you go.
Okay.
There you go. No, but I'm here. But yeah, and so yeah, I was asking you that, it's because when we talk about past, like people, like me, for example, I talk about so much in my social media, um, because everybody has a testimony in the past. Like I
Mhm.
talk about so much, like you would catch it if you sit back and listen. You'll catch a lot of this stuff.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
like sometimes, some people think that you're supposed to dig deep in your past and go to particular things, and you know what I'm saying. Like when you're a very open person and you see I'm always talking like, hey,
Mhm.
I did this, I did that, this almost happened.
Mhm.
You talk about stuff so much. It's just like people. It kills me when people think that they got an aha moment, like
Mhm.
they know something about you that
Mhm.
you're like you said, like you're afraid to talk about it. But in reality,
Mhm.
if you listen or if you follow a lot of things that are
Mhm.
saying, I might have told you this 20 times,
Mhm.
times or 100 times.
Yeah.
Now I might not have got down to every detail, but
Mhm.
but when like I said, we know each other. When you're an open person, it's almost like, oh shit, I didn't know, I ain't tell you that. Well, I thought you heard that, or you
Mhm.
like that's the part
Yeah.
that, and that's why I asked you that particular question, because people will think, and I say it all the time. Like when you see me leave video, I'm like, hey, I've done this, that, been a part of this,
Mhm.
that, and I don't care how you feel about it. This is my life, and
Yeah.
maybe I'll go into detail, so you can never give me a aha moment,
Mhm.
because all I'm gonna say is, oh, okay,
Yeah.
and,
Right.
and some people be feeling like, uh, well, you didn't go into detail about this. Well, I mean, am I supposed to? I mean, like, damn,
Mhm.
so many people
Mhm.
are not. It's so many men. Like I said, this is why I talk about men. So many men that don't tell you anything about them. You know
Mhm.
nothing about what they have going on. You know nothing.
Yeah.
And my disclaimer to anyone, friend, foe, it could be man, whoever. I said, I'm gonna tell you so much stuff. I'm gonna tell you things you probably don't want to hear. And I
Mhm.
do that for a reason, just because, and the reason why I do that is because of what we talked about when I did not want to talk about my past and things that happened.
Mhm.
Well, I learned to be quite the opposite. And
Mhm.
hey, this is what it is. This is what happened, in hopes that, because there's always going to be times where people don't have all the facts. And I will hope that
Mhm.
somebody will say, you know what, man, much as this dude or much of this person, or it could be you, much of this person
Mhm.
talk about, uh, I don't know. They just probably just missed it or whatever. It's a miscommunication, and nobody ever gives you the benefit of the doubt.
Mhm.
I've heard this term in the last few years about men being vulnerable. Men don't
Mhm.
want to be vulnerable and talk about stuff. And me, I'm quite the opposite. Like I want you to know,
Mhm.
it's no shame. It's no shame. And
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
I was just wondering how you felt about that. You know,
I
which
think
was
it's attractive. It's when people are vulnerable. To me, it's sexy. It opens the door to so much, and it's like a man being vulnerable to me makes me want to be right in his space. How can I help you? How can I fix this? How can I serve you? If this is my husband, baby, how can I serve you in this moment? But we're supposed to have the heart of a servant, all of us, men and women, because we're here to be a help one to another. So how do I see my husband, the man that I want to spend the rest of my life with, be in a vulnerable state and not serve him? Not say, how can I serve you through this? What do you need from me? because how I know to serve you may not be how you want to be served in this. What do you need from me? To me, it's that easy. I don't think relationships are hard. I think people make relationships hard.
I believe so as well, and I think it boils down to a big lack of communication because so many questions could be answered if a person said, "Hey,
Mhm.
uh, X, Y, and Z." Well, now you got a yes or no answer,
Mhm.
but some people think like it could be you in the story that you told, about some things that happened to you. Well, maybe you said, "Hey, this is something happened to me," but you didn't go into a detail. Like I
Mhm.
can't
Mhm.
sideways because of that. I can't say
Mhm.
that. Oh, you're keeping things for me because you didn't tell me that.
Mhm.
Um, the first time I ran into a woman who had been sexually assaulted, I would say maybe um, I probably was maybe close to 30 years old, and then
Mhm.
my little friend, and we've been intimate a few times, and we're really cool. And during that moment, I pulled her to sit on my lap, and she jumped off my lap and ran, sat in the corner, and started crying.
Mhm.
Like she was bawling. I felt bad. Like it almost made me start crying. Like I mean, she
Mhm.
was saying, she was
Mhm.
sitting in the corner, like quacking. I'm like, oh, what's wrong? She's like, well, I should have told you that X, Y, and Z happened to me, and this is what they used to do to me when this happened. You
Mhm.
know, so that I didn't take her to a dark place.
Mhm.
But now once I know better, I could do better. But
Mhm.
I just think a lot of this vulnerability and people thinking, like everybody in everybody's mind, like somebody's always trying to keep something from the next person.
Yeah.
I want
Mhm.
to tell nobody nothing and all that. And but in reality, the things that you want ain't nothing but a question away. It's just,
Exactly. Mhm.
when people say, "Hey, I'm open," you
Mhm.
know, that means I'm open. That means ask me what you want to. That means
Yeah.
ask what you want to ask. And people don't ask those questions.
Mhm.
Hey, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Give me one
Okay.
second. All right, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back.
Mhm.
I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that that's going to be probably my first panel that I do
Mhm.
with multiple people. Is going to be on abuse because that's a
Mhm.
big thing. Like, no, I'm into black love and just people loving one another, but we can't be dating, if we're not healed. I gotta
Mhm.
I have a good friend, and she'll be okay with me sharing this story. And I'm gonna move on to like my next question because I don't have that
Mhm.
many. Um, a good friend of mine, and I'm gonna get her on here. She's a strong black woman, and she'll tell that story. She's dating a guy. She's pretty tall, and she's dating this guy who's about 6 foot 6. And to make a long story short, she found out that he had, been abused. He'd been, as a young
Mhm.
man in California, he had been through the system and been abused. And once you go to prison, even being a gang member, once you have that label on you, that stigmatism on you
Mhm.
when you go back into the system. You are considered, a boy,
Mhm.
a toy.
Mhm.
And so it's the same thing when she found that out and found out, that he preferred transgender people. Her thing was, well, what happened to you? You know what I mean? And he kind of broke it down. Like I said, I'll let her tell the story, but he kind of broke it down. But and what happened to him, and same things like, you might want to talk to somebody because some things happen to you, and
Mhm.
we as men, and I get on this men, we want to go dating, but we don't want people to know the whole truth of why we're acting the way that we're acting, or why we
Mhm.
won't do certain stuff, uh,
Mhm.
which will lead me to this is a real good question for you, because man, you're super cool, you're super strong, you're not judgmental. Like, what is a deal breaker for you?
A deal breaker.
What's a deal
My
breaker?
my biggest deal breaker is liars. I don't do liars on any level. Um, I've been lied to my entire life. So if a man comes with any form of lying, whether it be just a blatant lie or just admitting the truth, I'm out. I'm just out. I don't need no closure. That is my biggest thing is a liar. I'm automatically out.
And so have you come across a lot of deal breakers? Just so because on my last show when I talked about a lot of men who told lies, so I'll give you a scenario.
Okay.
I don't know if a lot of women are aware of men telling this lie, and I'm not saying that it's right.
Mhm.
Man sees women. One of a man's biggest fears to be rejected.
Mhm.
That's one of a man's biggest fears to be rejected. And a big thing that's happened, and I know that you dealt with it being a mature woman, that I'm gonna stretch this a little bit. You say that you like something. It's something in particular
Mhm.
that you love to do. And his
Mhm.
thing is, me too.
Mhm.
No matter what it is, you like to do
Mhm.
this. Oh, me too. You
Mhm.
know, I like a man that holds the door open for me. I do that. But now
Mhm.
in reality, they don't do any of that. They're just,
Mhm.
but really, it ain't the fact that they just went out to say, you know what, I'm just gonna go lie to this woman,
Mhm.
because I just want to tell her this and feed her this story.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
sometimes, and I'm not saying it's right, I just want you to be aware. Sometimes men are saying this because they really, really like you, and they so
Mhm.
scared that if they're not liking what you like, you're not going to talk to them.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And it's like the average woman, not dealing with rejection. The average woman, if you really think about it, the average woman never really deals with rejection, because
Mhm.
let's face it, you can have a woman no matter what she looks like. She could, I mean, it don't matter what she look like. And I think everybody's beautiful in the world. I don't think everybody's sexy, but I think
Mhm.
everybody in the world is beautiful.
Mhm.
If you could take this woman, she could be 800 pounds, and she could put a post up and say, you know what, this is my address, and you can come to my house anytime for the next 7 days. You can have whatever you want. It's gonna
Mhm.
be men, handsome men of all walks of life that's creeping in that room. No,
Mhm.
no matter what she looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but on the flip side, as a man, it's harder for a man don't have that kind of action. So it's like
Mhm.
a lot of women's not used to being rejected, or a man saying, "Oh, well,
Mhm.
you're really not my type," or
Mhm.
So a lot of men go through that, and they tell that story because they don't know what else to say. They're like, man, I really like this woman. Man, I just want to get to know her. But they're just so scared because of that rejection, not realizing that their
Mhm.
rejection doesn't trump the man that you are. It
Mhm.
don't make you any less than the man.
Mhm.
She just might like somebody just light skinned. She
Mhm.
might she
Mhm.
might like somebody that's tall. Uh,
Mhm.
You might want somebody that's buff.
Hmm.
I was wondering if you've ever dealt with something like that. Just somebody that just had a hard time, just let's say being themselves around you, so to
Oh
speak.
yeah. Oh yeah. And rejection for me. So I can kind of hit on the rejection for me and for whoever the guy is. I don't get rejected like that on as far as approaching a man because I don't approach men. I've never had to, or I've never seen a reason to. Men always come to me. Now, in the rejection aspect of it, a man will quit me. I get quit all the time. Um, but his reasoning for quitting me is usually some nonsense. I don't ask no questions. If they want to quit me, I'll be like, all right, baby, it's cool. I'm not for everybody. Now, when it comes to me rejecting a man, I don't be on no nonsense like, oh, he don't be opening the door for me and he don't be doing this for me. So if I like you, I like you based on who you are, your energy. I'm not looking for a perfect man because I'm not a perfect woman. I'm not tripping if you don't open no door. If we walk to the car and I get in on my side, you get on you. Now, I do. Most men do that. They are gentlemen and they do that, and I appreciate a gentleman. But that's not a deal breaker for me. A
Okay.
deal breaker for me is something much more substantial. So I'm not tripping on you opening no doors and nothing like that. Shit, we may be walking, I may grab the door for you. I usually learn the man that I'm with. A lot of men from the South, and I normally men from the South, men from California, and men from New York will find me no matter where I am. Those three men always come for me. New York men and Southern men always open the door. They're always everything is baby, sugar, honey. They're that guy. Dudes from California, I ain't never had them open no doors for me. They're usually a little more rough around the edges. But a Southern man, even if a Southern man is rough around the edges, and New York, if they rough around the edges, trust and believe I ain't touching no doors. They're making sure all them doors is open. When we walk in a restaurant, they pulling out chairs. They're different kind of gentlemen. Even though they can be roughnecks, they're different and they will still do those things. Where guy from California, he's just rough. So, which is cool. I ain't mad at whatever it do. But when it comes down to me rejecting a man, trust and believe it's always about respect. It's always about reciprocation, stuff like that. So if I quit them, I'm quitting them because, listen, I told you I'm into reciprocation. I show you love, I check on you, I see about you. You don't do any of those things for me. So I'm instantly out. Now, some people I've been labeled a track star because I will leave a man. I will leave him no matter how much I like him. And I'm saying that to say this. I will leave you if you are not about this life. If you are not about trust, respect, honesty, those types of things are important to me. Those are reasons I will stop talking to you. And if I've had a conversation with a man and we're talking and I'm telling him, hey, I don't like when you do this or that. I don't like to make me feel some kind of way. Now, mind you, I got thick skin, so I'm not bringing you no nonsense. If I bring it to you, it's real. I'm bringing you something real. And if you even act like you gonna fix it, if you feel, oh, Trish, okay, I don't want you feeling like that. We good. But if you like, girl, bye, ain't nobody got time for this, then I ain't got time for you. Because if you come to me and say, Trish, when you say this to me or when you do this thing that you do, it makes, as your man, I feel some kind of way. I do not get the option to say, you need to man up. You tripping. I ain't, you acting like a bra. I do not get to say that. What I get to say, especially if this relationship, if he's important to me, the relationship is important. I don't want to introduce confusion. What I get to say is, baby, I'm sorry. But show me a little grace. Let me work on this thing. I don't ever want you to feel like that. And I definitely don't want to be the one that makes you feel some type of way. So I'm all about that. But what I'm not about is disrespect and lying and stuff. So if a man approaches me and he's with some nonsense, the rejection is always going to be based on disrespect, based on you're not consistent. I don't take it like I don't take it and make it be like, well, he ain't shit or he ain't no good because of this, that, and the third. I'm not the one for you. There's some things that I like that I need to make me to keep me in that feminine energy and cater because I'm very catering. I'm very affectionate. If you don't bring those things to the table, not saying that you have to do what I do, but showing me something, I'm not going to do those things. It's not reciprocated, and I'm not the one for you because you don't like those things. You don't want me to do those things because you don't do those things. You don't even act like you want to do that. So I just take it as I'm not the one for you. Like you don't see me like that. And which is fine. We all got because I believe that a man when he meets a woman that and she does it for him, he'll do whatever he got to do to keep her. So if you're not doing those things to keep me, it's because I'm not her. And that's just it.
Yeah, and see, I like what you touched on, like the different states, because just being, born and raised in Las Vegas on the West Coast, it's good to hear a woman say it for a change. Because
Mhm.
I would tell any woman, I say, women on the West Coast are very superficial.
Mhm.
Women from the South, the Midwest, and back east are a whole different breed,
Mhm.
entire different breed. And they said, well, why is that? I said, because I said, there's no culture out here. Um,
Mhm.
for y'all in California, man, I'm sorry, y'all got a bad rap, but
Mhm.
California, a lot of the people that I've always dealt with and come across is, you know, back in California, I got this, and back in California, I got that, and nobody really cares about that. There's a lot of lies.
Mhm.
Then when you I tend to get along with people that live in other states because if I'm talking to you and just having a real conversation with you, well, I don't have to have you thinking that, well, I'm telling you this so I can come knock on your door tonight and creep through your back door.
Mhm.
So my conversation seems to go a lot farther. You know,
Mhm.
was Southern people got that different type of upbringing,
Mhm.
which is lost. They know the art of courting, and
Mhm.
you're not going to get that out here anymore. It's been made so you don't have to do that. And so that's why I said with people in our age category, that's why you know, I hope a lot of younger people start really dipping in here so you can see their opinion. It's gonna be just way off. Like they're not used to people
Mhm.
talking to them. They want
Yep.
to text all day on a phone.
Mhm.
They don't know how to have a conversation. And especially the young men, they don't know how to do anything. But
Mhm.
yet they require all this stuff. And it's like,
Yep.
how are you gonna get there and you can't do any talking for yourself? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, which there was this gonna lead me to my last question right here, and then
Mhm.
but you can, of course, you can ask me whatever you want because I think we had a beautiful interview. We got some
Mhm.
beautiful things out there, and I just want to ask you this question right here. Why do you feel? Because I think men do it too, but this is for women. This is for women. Why do you feel that some women self sabotage their relationships and situations? Meaning, and what I mean by that is they pray for something and they're like, man, I want this man that respects me, that does all of this, and now he's here,
Mhm.
but he didn't come the way that you thought he was coming. Like he may not, the love that he's giving you, like you might have, like he's giving you everything that you asked for, everything you pray for, you got, but
Mhm.
it's like it's
Mhm.
too good to be true, and the self sabotage comes in to where you have a lot of men and women looking for
Mhm.
fault in the next person. And it's like, why
Mhm.
does it have to be something wrong? I've wondered if
Mhm.
you ever dealt with that.
As it relates to both sexes, and I've seen it a lot more in women than I have men, but I've seen it different in men. A double-minded person is unstable in all their ways. So when it comes down to it, why would I pray for something so earnestly and then get it and not want it? Most of the time, people don't know what they're praying for. People don't know what they're asking God for. And you get a good person and they're doing everything that they're supposed to do. You're not fulfilled because you're unwhole anyway. A whole person sees things different than a person that is not whole. So a whole person will see this man or this woman coming into their life and making beautiful music with it. Oh, we gonna do this, and he said that, or she said this, and we finna make this thing work. Somebody that is not whole will come in and see, girl, I came in today. When I tell you the whole house was clean, it smelled so good, like he used Fabuloso, dinner was ready, and all this. But girl, the only thing was you gotta find that one thing because that one thing makes you feel superior to that man. And a lot of times women come with this very arrogant attitude and feel like, well, men's stupid anyway, girl. He ain't gonna know the difference. That's where women mess up. Men ain't stupid. Men know exactly what they want, how they want to do it. They go about things stupid sometimes. Sometimes the way y'all go about doing it can be considered stupid. But men are not stupid by no stretch of the imagination. The way that men are very simple in the way that they think. And so a man will say, now wait a minute. So I did everything. I checked off every box that you put up here. I've done it. I've jumped through these hoops. But you telling me that this one thing I didn't do that was not even on the list is a problem. That's what you're telling me. They will break it down in such a simple way. And now you over there looking all kinds of stupid because what he's saying is true. This wasn't even a part of the deal. But now you're bringing it in because a lot of women have to have that level of dysfunction. They have to have it. Because they're toxic. And that's the thing with society today. I hear men all the time. I don't want no toxic woman. I ain't messing with no toxic woman. A toxic woman is this, that, and the third. But let's put that but there. We're gonna put a but, comma. However, toxic women are not single. Not one toxic woman you know is single. They are all in relationships. So how is it that no men are dating or married to toxic women? They refuse toxic women, but ain't no toxic women single.
Well, see, and you know, and they're not, and like I said, I'm really glad I asked you that question, is because you know people, you know, like I said, I ain't want to be the one to say it. You have people that do they looking for this one thing, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like how can you have 30 days in a month and you have one bad day, and all of a sudden that dictates your entire relationship? Did the other
Mm-hmm.
days mean something?
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like we all
Yeah.
fall for the glory and grace of God, and nobody's gonna have a perfect day. And even to go deeper than that, what kind of kills me, and like I said, I haven't given my personal opinion throughout the interview too much because I don't like to
Mm-hmm.
talk about me. But my thing is, and I would always tell anybody this: if you think that I've wronged you, tell me immediately.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but what most people do is they wait. They wait.
Mm-hmm.
It
They'll
could
tell
be
everybody else. Mm-hmm.
3 weeks go by, and see what I'm getting at. You feel like this for 2, 3 weeks, and you don't say anything, and the door is open for you to talk,
Yeah.
to say,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, this is why I feel," or "Hey, this is." But now they feel like they got an aha moment, and now something happens, and they dump all this stuff on you. Well, to me, That's a form of lying. I feel that that's a form of lying
Mhm.
because you have me thinking that everything is okay, but in reality,
Mhm.
everything is not okay. And I
Mhm.
can never fix anything if I don't know you have a problem.
Right.
And
Mhm.
I think it's, and I see people do it. I think it's so unfair to where a person thinks that that is something going on, or they think that it's a problem going on, but yet they never bring it to you until something bad happens. And they
Mhm.
or they never want to bring that. See, I'm a person who likes to talk. I like to talk, about
Mhm.
anything before stuff happens, preventative stuff. Because I feel if you have communication, a lot of things
Mhm.
you can avoid, or you have understanding about. But everybody's not like that, and that's something I had to
Mhm.
learn to deal with. One of my friends had
Mhm.
to tell me, "Hey, Eric, everybody ain't you. Everybody ain't you. Everybody don't handle
Mhm.
that." I'm like, "Okay, you're
Mhm.
right," but I'm like,
Mhm.
"Okay, but if you feel a certain type of way, that's that self sabotage I'm talking about. To me, I feel
Mhm.
I kind of feel like that's a lie to have a
Mhm.
person thinking that they, like you say, hitting everything on that list,
Mhm.
and you don't say nothing, but now you get a hair up your ass today, and now it's like
Mhm.
you want to dump all this stuff. But well, you could have told me this 3 weeks ago. So you've been carrying
Mhm.
this, and you've been making yourself upset, and now you didn't
Mhm.
have to be upset because what you thinking is a problem normally is just a big miscommunication that can
Mhm.
be solved with a, oh, my bad, is that what you thought? Well, here,
Mhm.
and now, like you say, you looking, people are looking stupid
Mhm.
because a lot of people think that, I tell you, I feel that a woman is smarter than a man all day long.
Mhm.
um I didn't say wiser, but I say
Mhm.
smarter in the way they do things. Me personally, everything I do is for a reason. I
Mhm.
may sit back and I may say something. I observe little things, and I have
Mhm.
very thick skin too. It don't, the only thing that bothers me is disrespect because I'm not going to give
Mhm.
it to you, so I'm definitely not
Mhm.
going to take it to you. Or
Mhm.
somebody that's just playing with your name and
Yeah.
integrity and stuff. And normally it's the
Mhm.
integrity is plus play with the self sabotage because
Mhm.
you can talk to people and they're like, like this is what you think, like this is what you think about me, and all you gotta do is ask me a question, and now you've been sitting around here wrong. It's like you want to laugh at people, and you can have a perfect
Yeah.
situation. It don't have to be relationships, it could be business, it could be your family, it could be anybody.
Mhm.
A
Mhm.
lot of people are running around here right as we have this very conversation, thinking that somebody is upset with them, then did something to them, keeping
Mhm.
something from them, trying to downplay them in some type of way, and they're too scared to open up their mouth and just say,
Mhm.
"Hey, this is how I feel." Oh well, no, I didn't know you looked at it like
Mhm.
my bad.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Or even just to say, hey, when you said this a few minutes ago, how did you mean that? I didn't understand what you were saying.
How'd you?
Sometimes it's that simple.
It's
It's just
that
that.
it's that simple.
Yeah.
And
I remember years ago, my late husband, we were downtown, and he asked me, I don't remember what the whole thing was about, but he thought that I said something that I didn't say. And he was like, or no, he took it a different way, and he just went off. He exploded. And I was like, wait, what just happened? He said, well, you were saying this. You was talking about, I said, no, I was talking about that thing over there. He was like, oh. So I'm looking at him, he looking at me, we looking at each other. So you just blew up because you thought I was talking about this when I was talking about that. And now the difference in what you thought was astronomical because it wasn't at all what you thought it was, and then you had to laugh, but now you got to deal with this smoke because you just blew up at me in public, right? In public. I don't
pub-
do public altercations. So you yelling at me because you thinking something that's not it. And when you brought it down, I was like, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about this store over here. Like literally, it was a store that I was talking about. I wanted us to go to, but he thought I said something else. But instead of him saying, "Hey, what did you just say?" You just blew up. So now the day is ruined. This I'm ready to go. There's no amount of apologies you can give me for yelling at me in front of all these white folks for no reason. Now what we doing? So you did something to me, made me feel a certain kind of way. So now you have damaged something here that we had. You damaged it. You bruised me. I don't want to talk to you. I would like to leave here. So you self sabotage when you could have said, "Baby, what you say?" And I would have easily told, "Oh, this store over here. I want us to go over here." I could easily did that. But I mean, that's where we at. And nowadays, when you were talking about a little bit ago about guys who don't know how to approach women, I just read an article earlier that said men between 18 and 25 have never been rejected by a woman because they've never approached a woman in person to ask her out on a date. If they have asked her out, it's been online. We're
It-
living in a sad state.
and that is that from 18 to 30, those are the ones. And they're like,
Mhm.
how do you talk to somebody, and they ask, and it's like I said, it's just really sad, the communication. And that's why I said with the whole self-sabotage. And that's, I learned this lesson like the hard
Mhm.
way. Just years ago, I learned the five love languages. I learned that
Mhm.
people need to hear it. You know,
Mhm.
I was in a situation where um I'm dating somebody. I got a 4 bedroom house 2 miles from them. They got a two
Mhm.
bedroom apartment. And so they asked me, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm maybe like 22 years old. Do
Mhm.
you want a girlfriend? I'm like, no. That's what I said initially. No, I don't.
Mhm.
Well, that was in the beginning, but
Mhm.
every day I spend the night at your house. Every day we eat dinner. We buy groceries at
Mhm.
your house. You see
Mhm.
where I'm going with this? That's
Mhm.
what I said, but I'm showing you something different, right? Because I'm there every day. I got a 4 bedroom house right up the street. I'm never
Mhm.
at home. I'm always with you. We eat at your house. We buy groceries at your house. I don't even buy groceries at my
Mhm.
house.
Mhm.
And it, when it came to an end, it was like, well, you didn't want a girlfriend. I was like, well, in the beginning, I mean, I did say that. Of course, I would want somebody to be my friend first. I said, but what have I showed you? And I don't think, especially these days, I don't think people take enough time to see, like, what is somebody showing you? And I just
Mhm.
learned that from an older woman. Like she said, she told me, she said, stop worrying about these titles. Just be who you are. And it's like,
Mhm.
I'm loving you. I'm catering to you. I'm trying to do everything for you. Um, Maybe our communication didn't line up.
Mhm.
Ask that question, because
Mhm.
the thing I'm giving you is like is you.
Mhm.
I'm trying to make.
Mhm.
I want to make everything about you. That's kind of
Mhm.
how I am with a partner. I wanted to be about. I wanted to be about you. Like
Mhm.
that's one of my greatest things in the world is doing stuff for people.
Mhm.
I ain't never worried about me. I'm gonna always be okay. But
Yeah.
it's just like I be feeling like nowadays people are always just trying to find something like that you're not doing
Mhm.
because they're too scared to really let go and
Mhm.
be who they are. Or you have these situations where um you got strong women. You got strong women. Well, you got strong man. Well, some people have never been in a situation where they're dealing with somebody that they're equally yoked with, that can
Mhm.
sit and have the same conversation, you know.
Mhm.
But then actually they find that this person might be right there, because now
Mhm.
they find out that they thought they was the shit right here, but
Mhm.
you didn't realize it was a few more levels to the game,
Yeah.
and now you find yourself stuck, and now they feeling vulnerable.
Mhm.
They're feeling vulnerable, like, oh, I'm not used to this space. And
Mhm.
it's like,
Mhm.
what can I? And it's almost like a self sabotage because you
Mhm.
find yourself going through through little stupid things like little
Mhm.
stupid arguments that you would never even go through, like
Mhm.
little petty things,
Yeah.
petty things, or you didn't tell me this, and like, they're like, hold
Mhm.
up, I'm giving you the world over here.
Mhm.
So if it's something that you're not getting, you should open up your mouth and speak about it.
Mhm.
You're probably going to get it because you can't read minds at the end of the day. And
Mhm.
I
So I
guess
want
that.
to tap on that real quick, what you said, because I know we run out of time too.
Oh yeah, no,
So
I got time. I got time.
I don't have time. I gotta take a
Yeah,
shower and go to
yeah, no,
bed.
go
You got time. I ain't got
on your
time.
time. I appreciate you coming on. I'm on your
So
time, so we
it's
can be.
all good.
Go
So I
ahead.
want to say, so this is so listening to you with the last story you just told about, you started off, you like, I don't want a girlfriend, but you doing relationship type stuff, right? And so there is twofold. It's like, okay, that was in the beginning, I didn't want that, but now look what I'm showing you. But see, me, I'm very literal. So I'm thinking, I would think if it were me, okay, he's here for a good time, not a long time. Because what he told me was this, but his actions are saying something different. Me, I take direction from the man. So your actions are you buying groceries. Okay, we both buying groceries. I'm gonna cook for you. We doing all this stuff while we're here, while we together. We having a good time. But when we not together because that's not what you want. I would be looking for you to come and revisit that because you've changed. Now, I could have always wanted to be with you. That's why I'm cool with you spending the night every night. That's why I'm cool with I'm cooking or we're cohabitating like that because I already like you in that manner. I'm wanting you to change your mind, but I'm not going to press you because I don't want to be on your neck. And you already told me I don't want that. But this, what we got right here, I like it. It's cool. I want to preserve that. So I'm not going to get on you about it. So me, I would personally be waiting for you to come back and revisit. I know what I said before, but we done grown closer and I want to do something different. How you feel about that? I would wait for direction from you before I would assume anything. That's
That's
how I would have been in that situation.
okay now, and I feel you, and I definitely agree. And I was like 21, 22 years old.
Mhm.
So that's why I said I learned the five love languages.
Mhm.
I learned that, oh, okay, because I'm like, well, I'm showing you. And that's when she said, well, sometimes people need to hear it. So
Mhm.
then when I learned to be, proficient in the five
Yeah.
languages, I said, oh, everybody don't speak the same language.
There
And
you go. Yep.
that's like one of them things back in our day that the youngsters don't
Mhm.
know about. You
Yeah.
want a boyfriend, you want a girlfriend. I'm like, no, because I don't even know you at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
But now we're moving, and I'm thinking, okay, well, wow, she just know because man, I'm here 24/7. I ain't
Mhm.
when I leave work, I'm here. And, so I'm
Mhm.
thinking, no, but then I learned, no, you got to open up your mouth and talk. And then,
Mhm.
like you said, I learned to, hey,
Mhm.
let me show you, let me be devoted. Some people need to hear it. Some
Yeah.
people need to be shown, some people need to be told,
Mhm.
some people, and then you become proficient in it. And like you said, for the older people who never even reached that five love language part, hey guys, you have to do some talking, and your
Yeah.
talking have to match your actions because the personal
Mhm.
thing it's about them actions at the end of the day.
Yeah. It's important that your words and actions say the same things, especially when you're dealing with somebody that that's solid. Because solid people look for your actions and your words to say the same things, right? So if you saying you don't eat beef, but you at the rib shack getting some beef ribs, then we got a problem. So it's like, what do we eat beef or do we not eat beef? So it be those little idiosyncrasies that be like, okay, I got to make sure that I'm lined up And because I'm the same way with my own stuff, I'm like, Trish, you can't flip flop. If it's red, it's red. If it's blue, it's blue. It ain't purple. It ain't pink. What is this thing gonna be? So in my old age, as I'm learning and growing and growing and learning, I'm learning to be clear in what I like, clear in the things that I don't like. Because I noticed that people, a lot of men, try to change me for some reason. Like they want to bring me down or humble me, and I'm as humble as it gets. I'm like, no, no, no. The strength that you see in me is not arrogance. It's not. I'm still here.
Still,
I'm fully grown in God through His grace and His mercy, because I should have been dead a long time ago. But through His grace and His mercy, I'm still here, and I'm still here, and my heart still works. I'm not bitter. I'm not upset. I'm not angry. I don't have underlying issues. I've healed from my past, so I'm here. My heart is still breakable, meaning it still works. I'm still capable to love, not only love somebody, but receive the love that is given to me. So this strength that you see, you have mistaken it for arrogance. I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy that I'm here and I don't have issues that I'm still fighting through. I'm happy that I'm able to see 50 and I'm telling God, listen, this side of life, I don't want to. I used to be like, oh, I love hard. No, I don't want to love hard. I said, Lord, you know what I want this side of life? I want to laugh hard, but I want to love easy, because I know that it's not hard to be in a relationship. People make the relationship hard. So, Lord, send me somebody that I can love easy with, that I can laugh hard with. Send me that one. But the one I gotta love hard, I don't want him. I'm tired.
that's deep. See, I learned a couple things, with now loving, definitely with loving, and then unconditional love as well.
Hmm.
Well, hey, well, that's it, God, man. Trish, I appreciate you tapping in, taking your time. I know you're
Absolutely.
coming. Hope everybody that get to see this, gets a lot out of it, especially the
Hmm.
younger generation. That's why I created this channel, because I think it's something that needs to be talked about. And you guys make sure you tap in with Trisha at Dating Over 40 podcast, because
Oh
she
yeah, on Facebook, on Trisha Nicole Harris on Facebook. Come see
knows
me.
how to get to you. I
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
tell everybody how to get to you, your information, and then I'm gonna log up out of here.
All right, all right. You want me to tell him now, or I just told him? I just told him, didn't
Tell them now, because it's
Okay, okay, y'all. Trisha Nicole Harris. Nicole is Nako. I'm on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. But we do the podcast every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, because I'm here in Arizona. I go live on Facebook. So if you follow me, you'll get the notifications. Every Wednesday, we talking about raw and uncut, fully grown issues. We trying to just be better. We just want to be better. We just want to be healed. So join us, chime in. It's an interactive show, so it's live. You comments if you got something to say, you wanted me to bring you on, baby. I'll just bring you on camera. We gonna talk about it. Day
y'all.
number 40.
It don't get no better than that. But other than that,
There
you
you
guys have
go.
a wonderful day, man, and we're gonna keep it one stack because there's only one standing ahead of Christ, and that's God. Y'all
There
have a
you
beautiful
go. Thank you, sir.